When my brother picked me up in West Palm Beach, we went to stay with a family. The lady had left Cuba a few months before that. She had actually been a housekeeper at our home, and we stayed with her for 2 to 3 months or so. And then my brother and I sort of rented what ended up being a house on Southwest 6th Street. It was a wooden house. It was basically falling apart. And that's where we ended up. And in that house sort of became an informal refugee. I think at one time we had like 28 men living in that house because everybody that was coming from Cuba was just going to that house, and we of course opened it up for everybody to stay there. So that became our home in Southwest 6th Street. 347 Southwest 6th Street, I think, was the actual number of the house. And obviously the rent was very low, and we just made do at that time.
McGregor Smith and his wife lived in 1132 South Greenway Drive, right across from the golf course, the Granada Golf Course. And they had a chauffeur, they had a maid that used to make the house and clean the beds, and then they had a butler, which also, not only a butler, but he was a cook. He was from the Philippines. The driver was from Nassau. And the cleaner was from the United States, a black lady. And we used to go just about every Friday to a different country club for dinner, because he said, I'd like to train you kids to know the very important person. And actually, we met Eddie Rickenbacker. Before he died, we met Ed Ball, president of DuPont, chairman of the board of DuPont, John Pennekamp, the John Pennekamp camp. We met the governor, First Bryan, Senator Frank Smathers, all the big shots. As a matter of fact, they had everyone one time for dinner, and he made sure that we were part of that dinner too. And let me tell you, the plates were gold-plated. so we were used to, our life here was even better than we had in Cuba.
Others did not fare well. I know in particular one situation, a black Cuban boy, who was sent to Peoria, Illinois, and he was not so fortunate. Years later, I learned of the harshness of his situation.
In 1965, they were closing the camp because since 62, no more children were coming. So there were not that many kids in the camp left. And so they closed the camp. By then, my parents were in Mexico trying to come to the United States. They had found a way to live through Mexico. And I knew that it would be not much longer before they would arrive in Miami. So we went with our aunt, and my sister went to one house and I went to another with family. And it was like 3 months, and by then our parents were able to meet with us, and we had a very happy reunion.
After I left the camp, I spent several months in different homes that they took me in, and then we moved with my aunt. So a year later, after I left the camp, my mother came, and my father stayed behind. My father decided to fight the revolution, and so he stayed behind. And he got arrested and released, and arrested and released, and until he was finally arrested and sentenced to 30 years in prison. So I didn't see my father until he was released in 1980, and he was able not only to see his son, but their grandchildren. So it took a long time to have my parents reunited with me.